Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop and the F-14. Carbon fiber showed up a day early on Friday, and I spent yesterday taking the time. I got all the two vertical fin molds closed up with all the stuff in there. I'm getting ready to start separating those, and my buddy Tom also came over and we did the layup on a wing panel, which is about ready to pop out as well. Well, at least the bottom skin or whatever. It's ready to be trimmed and all. I'm going to try and lay up that other wing, the top part of that wing panel this afternoon. And hopefully sometime next week or the week after, I'll get those, that wing panel joined up. Because it probably won't be next weekend because I've got an event to go to, and then the Monday after next weekend, so a week from tomorrow, I gotta go out of town for a week for work. So things will slow down for a little bit, but hopefully that'll mean money for buying more materials so things can continue on. So see, I got a carbon fiber rod in there for attaching the vertical fin to the actual fuselage. I haven't decided if I'm going to make the vertical fins removable or not. I probably won't on the prototype. I'll make them permanent to the fuselage. But it might be an option for later kits to have a clamp in there to clamp onto that carbon rod and the dowel or another bolt at the front of the fairing in order to make the vertical fin removable to ease transport and all that jazz. Because it gets to be a pretty tall airplane. It's probably, with a landing ground, it's probably close to 3.5, 4 foot tall, I guess. Oh, so I just yank all these bolts out. Quite a time-consuming task in and of itself. The wing panel, I weighed up all the components, all the glass layers and the carbon fiber, the foam, the machine portion, the shear web stuff. I mean, I put everything I've got for it other than the resin I weighed up, and then I figured out the consumption of resin for everything, and if my calculations are right, the wing should be 3 pounds or so. Or one wing panel will be 3 pounds, which, like I said, the plug weighs 2.5 pounds covered in aluminum, and the plug's not even a quarter of what a flying wing would need to be strength-wise. So, if the wing comes out to 3 pounds and the layup and its strength is what I'm expecting it to be, I'll be pretty happy. If the strength is more than I expect it to be, I can always kind of lighten up the layup a little bit. Because the carbon fiber I use is some really heavyweight stuff for the kind of like a doubler for the spar cap. And that's another thing, the vertical pieces that are inside the wing that are made out of the glass balsa or foam or whatever. That's not technically the spar. That's more of a shear web, and how I've got it figured out. So it's not really. It's going to take some bending load, but it's not going to take all of it. It's more along the lines of just keeping the wing panels, the top and bottom skin separate, and they keep them from collapsing on each other, and then from doing like the shearing action side to side. So while it will do some bending. Its primary job is to keep the panels aligned. So the actual spar is all that carbon fiber toe that's inside that foam slot. That's what's going to take the majority of the bending loads from the airplane, and that's why the wave is a little awkward or different. Is because of that, all that carbon toe and the bending loads, and with that spar wrapping around that machine aluminum hub, any bending loads that it's trying to do is going to want to try and pull that carbon toe around that hub. But since it wraps around it, my idea is it physically won't be able to unless it deforms or breaks that hub. Which, if the design is right, that shouldn't happen, because the hub and the whole carbon toe and everything should work out to where nothing will want to. Well, it'll just be strong enough to keep it from doing that. Well, here's the first of some of it. And there we have it, the first vertical fin. Tell you what, man, this thing is light. Going around, you can see all the detail I got. I got the little double ridge here on it. There's a little bit of body work to do that for on these fairings, that little ridges there from where I had to actually kind of cut the litho plate to get it to fit around. So all that I have to be kind of body worked out. Panel lines and screw detail, which you probably won't be able to see because the lighting on the thing. There's a panel line with screws there, and all the structure is in the thing as well. So let's see what this thing weighs. I'm gonna tell you what, this thing is light. One of the things I'm most proud about with this, as you can see, all this double detail right here. Well, sort of. Let me find this a better light. There we go. Get over here to my messy bench. So you can see all that double detail. You got the formation light housing. You got the frame right here for light. And all this carbon toe and everything that'll get taken off eventually. Man, this thing just turned out better than I ever expected. What I hoped for, but always hope for the best and maybe expect the worst, depending. Alright. So let's see. 10.5 ounces, so we're about 13 ounces for a vertical fin and a rudder. I can live with that. That's pretty good for the first layup. No, not too shabby. Strength-wise, it's very strong as well. And actually probably thin out some of the material on the inside of this thing to lighten it up just a tiny bit. So, number one, put these molds to the side. We'll pop out number two. Which number two is a slightly bit different. Because remember we had that duct on the front fairing, so the second one here is actually a 3-piece mold. So we'll see how it turned out. The duct I've already popped out of the mold, and it turned out pretty good. It could have been better, but it turned out good enough. A little bit of body work and it'll be perfect. Let's do that. And there's the duct. A little bit of body work needed there at the top edge of it. Start pulling some bolts out of this thing. And again, you can see how easy that part popped out. And these aren't seasoned molds. That vertical fin was literally the first one that's ever come out of that mold other than the plug. So I mean, the free coat stuff is amazing and slippery for doing this stuff. Hopefully it just makes getting the fuselage out a lot easier. Alright, one more. We'll get to do some action work here. Oh, that sound always sounds so bad. There's that one. They're slowly pulling the carbon rod out of this mold half. You'll see the carbon rod comes out. There's a pretty beefy carbon tube that is actually part of the structure inside the thing. This carbon tube it does not bend at all. Even when this thing was 2 foot long, you could sit there and grab on either end and put as much force and strength as you had into it, and it would budge maybe a quarter, half an inch at either end. It's just one strong little tube. And now we have number 2. As you can see, it's got one of the little antenna doodads or whatever it is already here. Again, all the nice little detail panels, the light frame, same on the other side. The doublers going vertical. The naked duct vent thing, more screw details, panel lines, all the good jazz. And it turned out really nice as well. See, the tube just slides right in and out. Nice and strong. Very happy. So what this one weighs, that one's 10.5. This one might be slightly heavier because of the duct, but I doubt it. Actually lighter, it's 9.5. 9 3/4 actually. So there we go. 2 full sets of, well, actually with all of this out, I now have a complete tail section for the F-14. So I've got the vertical fins, the rudders, the horizontal stabs. So almost there. Alright, let me clean up the table here a little bit and I'll pull the wing mold over here. And we'll pull that thing out of the bag. But for that, I'm going to start another video up. So we'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, here in a few moments.